GlamourSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offered and not included upcharge. Undercutting, rust-proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. One of the things that Robin and I have done all of our lives, I think, before we started working together. I know that Robin and I have shared our stories with you listeners many, many times. But the one common element, I think, has always been to encourage people who have a talent or a skill or a passion, and it's to follow that, to build on the talent, to build on the skill, to embrace the passion and allow that passion to catapult you to wherever you're supposed to be going in this lifetime. And I guess that each one of us has that, and each one of us has to decide what we do with those things. And I'm guessing there's more than one. We spent the last 4 days up at the National Association for Campus Activities, and it was huge. It was about 90% of the people there were college-age students. And they all have something that they are working towards, all have something they're trying to become. And there were so many talented people in so many different ways. So as radio hosts, one of the cool things we get to do is speak to authors, and as a result of speaking to authors, we have a lot of listeners who also are authors and will listen keenly. If they're established authors, they will listen, and if they're beginning authors, we have a young lady in town who recently signed a contract with, was it No, not HarperCollins. What's the one that does the romance novels?
Oh, the romance novels.
Harlequin.
Harlequin.
She signed a deal with it. Now, how exciting is that to get a deal like that? But here's the catch, and this is whether you're a songwriter, a book author, a filmmaker, if whatever your talent, a dancer, you want to get on American Idol, that kind of a thing, as a singer. Some of the contests that are out there are, in my mind, in existence for an ulterior motive, and that ulterior motive is to make the person putting on the contest rich. Mm-hmm. It's just an opinion. I'm not saying they don't offer the real prizes, but look, if it costs you $50 to enter your story into a book contest, let's say,
yes,
and just 1,000 people enter it, and the prize is $1,000, let's say. Mm-hmm. Well, who makes the money here? $50,000 just got collected, right?
Right, exactly.
Well, the one that you've heard us talking about the most is the L. Ron Hubbard Writers of the Future Award for the book. What is it called? Writers of the Future book, right?
Yes.
I always forget the name of the book. But anyway, it's
Writers and Illustrators of the Future.
Thank you. It is free. It is free for the writers. It's free for the illustrators. And we've spoken to some of the judges. We've spoken to some of the officials there, and they really have their jobs cut out for them when they do these things, because they have some really talented writers who submit their stuff. And it's just a really great way to catapult a career if you're a talented writer. We have on the phone one of those writers. Her name is Sylvia Anna Hiven. She wrote a short story called Glamour in Black. It says here, Sylvia is a third-place first-quarter winner in the Writers of the Future contest for Volume 32. She's talking about her short story, A Glamour in Black, and she's on the phone. Good morning, Sylvia. Thank you for waiting, by the way.
Good morning. Oh, no problem.
Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
We were just through Atlanta.
Yes, we were.
We were in Chattanooga. For something, so we had to pass through your city. Is that where you live?
Yes, I do. Uh-huh.
And you moved here from Sweden.
Yes, I did.
You're from Sweden?
A long time ago now. Yes, I moved here about 15 years ago.
What do they speak in Sweden? Swedish?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you speak Swedish?
Yes, that's what I was born and raised speaking.
You speak English so perfectly, though. I don't hear an accent or anything.
I do my best. I watch a lot of TV.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So how did you hear about this contest, first of all?
It was through another writer friend. His name is Stuart. And he had a lot of problem meeting deadlines on his stories. and so did I. And he said, hey, this contest is great. It's free to enter. The prizes are amazing. And it will force you to write a story every 3 months. And that's exactly what I needed at the time, to write to a deadline, because I was kind of lazy about the writing, and I wanted to be more serious about it. So that's how I started to enter a couple of years ago.
Oh, I see. And can you send in more than one, or have you sent in more than one at a time?
Well, you can't send in more than one per quarter. They have the contest every quarter, so you can just submit one story. But you can submit it every quarter if you want. So that's what was my goal at the time. I wanted to submit every quarter to make sure I was writing stories all the time.
And when you, before you won, did you get feedback from the judges that helped you hone your craft?
Yeah, you do if you place as a semifinalist or higher, which I did twice before I won. And the judge that reads the stories, his name is Dave Woolerton. He's a great author himself, and his feedback was so good. And each of the stories that I got feedback on, I turned around and I sold professionally. So that was so helpful.
Really? Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that deadlines are helping to make you a better writer?
Well, yeah. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You have to be able to actually finish something, or you're not technically a writer. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm a writer, and then you ask to read something, and they don't have anything to show for it. So actually getting it done is, that's what you got to do. So it definitely helps.
We have that here too. And as I mentioned in introducing you, we have authors who contact us, and they'll say, I've written a book. Can I be on the show? Sure, send us the book. Okay, well, I'll send you a PDF of the book. Okay, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. And then we'll say, well, where is it available for the listeners? Like if they want to go buy it. Oh, it's not published yet. Oh. Well, that kind of has to happen because our listeners are going to want to know where to get it. And it's not fair to the listeners. So while it might be a well-written book, it's that last step is necessary for a radio.
Yes.
And we do the same thing with like recording artists. I've written a song. Oh, how do you get it? Although in today's day and age, you can have an ebook or an song,
right?
And you don't really need the tangible product. So, and that's a viable way of publishing something. So, what was your first published work?
Gosh, that was a very long time ago. It was a tiny little short story called The First Petal Falls, and that was in a online magazine, actually. So that was an electronic story.
That sounds like a sweet story.
Oh, it wasn't. It was a terrible horror story, actually.
A horror story.
It's science fiction.
Oh, is everything you write the same genre? Is that a tip for you? Don't jump tracks with genres.
No, I mean, I write under the umbrella of speculative fiction, which is very, very broad. So that means that I can write fantasy, I can write science fiction, I can write horror, and westerns, and I write a lot of things that are just kind of weird. And I like it because I think you should be able to write more than one thing.
You have great eyebrows. I'm looking at your picture.
Oh.
You have expressive eyebrows. I'm trying to say something nobody else has ever said to you. You're very pretty. But I thought, if I say, gosh, she's a pretty girl, look at, you're going to say, everybody tells me that. But I bet nobody has said, you've got great eyebrows.
No, nobody. That's the first.
So I want to be the first on something.
Since some of your fiction has appeared in numerous publications, do you have a favorite publication that you keep writing for and going back to?
Yes. There is one kind of adventure fantasy magazine that's called Beneath Ceaseless Skies. And they write very beautiful, heroic stories, and I like a lot of uplifting stories like that. And yes, I have written stories specifically for them, trying to sell it to them, and it has worked sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't work.
So why,
Sylvia, I think it's...
Oh, I'm sorry. I did a faux pas there. I spoke on you. Sylvia, where does this come from? What inspired you to be a writer? And who were your influences, I guess is the word.
Gosh, I don't know. I've always written ever since I could. My family had a typewriter, and I think I wrote my first story on that typewriter when I was 8.
Wow.
And we always wrote in school, in Swedish class, equivalent to English class. We would always write stories, and I just read a lot when I was little. There are some great children's authors from Sweden, like Astrid Lindgren. She wrote like the Pippi Longstocking books, and she wrote a lot of dark fairy tales, and I really like those. And I think that's where it kind of
Oh, really?
whole fantasy
Isn't that
thing,
interesting? I love that. Do you like ABBA?
Oh, yes. Don't do it in my blood. If I don't, they will take away my citizenship.
I used to love ABBA.
Since you came over here, over to the United States when you were 20 years old, was all your writing done in the Swedish language prior to that? And now do you write in English, or do you still write in Swedish?
Oh, no, I've written in English since I was 15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just a different language. It's more expressive. It has more words. I like the sentence structure more. It's more of an inspiration to write in English for me.
Oh.
I never write in Swedish anymore.
It is actually. We have this in common. I write in English pretty much exclusively. I don't write well, but I write in English. Sylvia, don't go away. We've got to take a little break, but we'll be right back, okay? I want to hear about the story, A Glamour in Black. We haven't really talked about the story. So when we come back, we'll make sure we do that. This is WOCA, Ocala. We'll be right back with Sylvia and Hiven. We'll be right back.
Weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, times of clouds and sun with a passing afternoon shower. The high today 80 to 84, and partly cloudy tonight, low 65 to 69. For tomorrow, times of clouds and sun. There can still be a couple of showers along the coast. The high 81 to 85. On Wednesday, partly sunny. There may be a shower in spots, mainly in the afternoon over the interior. The high 82 to 86. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Do you have areas that have started sagging or drooping? Is what you're looking at not quite the same as it was years ago? Are there enhancements you've been putting off? Is there serious damage you need fixed? Then call on us, Damage Control Services. When your roof is sagging and the drywall is drooping after a storm, or your home just needs some enhancements, from damage repairs to new construction, Damage Control Services is here to help.
All right, 12 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let me read you some of the information that was provided to me so we could talk about the contest a little bit, and then we'll get back to Sylvia and Hiven. She writes mostly science fiction and weird westerns, it says here.
That'll be cool.
Her fiction has appeared in Beneath Ceaseless Skies, Escape Pod, Daily Science Fiction, and many others, each writing and illustrating contest winner. Now, this is specifically about the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future contest. The book that's coming out next is what, volume 32, Robin? 32
yes.
coming out next?
Yep.
Each writing and illustrating winner was presented their trophy by contest judges at a ceremony. We were talking to one of our other guests about the ceremony out in California, right on Hollywood Boulevard, right, or Sunset Boulevard, wherever it is. Right. Royalties and prizes over $30,000. Remember what I said earlier? It costs nothing to enter this contest, by the way. The story with artwork published by the L. Ron Hubbard Presents Writers of the Future, Volume 31. The Writers of the Future Writing Contest, which is go to writersofthefuture.com. That's the website, writersofthefuture.com, was initiated by L. Ron Hubbard in 1983 to provide a means for aspiring writers to get that much-needed break. Isn't that wonderful? Due to the success of the writing contest, the companion Illustrators of the Future contest was created in 1988. The mentoring process has proven to be successful, and I think we've seen evidence of that. The 368 past winners have published 838 novels and nearly 4,000 short stories. They've produced 27 New York Times bestsellers, and their works have sold over 50 million copies. The illustrating contest has had 298 winners, produced over 4,500 illustrations, 356 comic books, 594 books have had their illustrations in them, as well as albums. I guess it would be record albums or whatever, CDs. Yeah. And they've contributed to 36 TV shows and 46 major movies. Plus, I believe that the book itself was a hit on the was it the Barnes and Noble list?
Yes.
I think it's where they had the
Number one bestseller.
number one or something.
Yeah.
Sylvia and Hiven, you're in good company. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No pressure.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask about the story. A Glamour in Black. What is the story about?
The story is about a girl who is infected with a parasite. And the parasite makes her appear differently to different people. She appears as others want to see her. And she doesn't really know who she is anymore because she's just pleasing all these other people around her. So she has to make a decision whether to stay that way or whether to try to change that part about her.
Is that based on you? I mean, do you try to please everybody?
Well, it's funny. You write something, and at the time you think, oh, it's just an innocent story. And then later you look back at it and you think, wow, was there something going on in my life at the time? And it just came out in the story. And I think that was the case with that one, because it is hard sometimes when you're to be a woman or to be anyone really. And there you have all these ideas of what you should be. You should be this kind of daughter, this kind of worker, this kind of girlfriend, So maybe that's kind of in there. I don't really know, but that's a possibility.
Oh, how insightful you are.
I don't think that happens to guys.
No?
Should I be this kind of a son? This kind of a father? No, I think it does happen to us all.
Yeah.
Just teasing.
Especially the people you guys date, too, because sometimes women want you.
Do I have to be this macho man?
Exactly.
Or you have to be a macho man.
Yeah.
You dump us if we're not macho. You say you want sensitive, but the truth is.
You want a bad boy image.
So, Sylvia, are you, it's a personal question. Are you married? Do you have tell me about your personal life. Or if you don't want to.
I am not married. I am seeing somebody who actually encourages me to be exactly who I am. So
that's good.
Nice.
Good for him.
Yeah, yeah.
When,
other than that, I just
let me ask you something.
Atlanta with a dog.
Do you ever drive in the HOV lane in Atlanta?
I do not go into Atlanta. That is a nightmare.
Oh, you live there,
but
but
suburb.
Oh, you're in the suburb. What's the suburb called?
Lawrenceville.
Lawrenceville. It's a good name.
Did you get to choose the illustrator for your story for the project?
No, I haven't. We kind of get assigned those, as far as I'm aware, and I haven't even met them. I will meet them when we go to the workshop next year. But they are all always amazing illustrators, and that's so exciting. Somebody's going to take my story and turn it into an image. I'm really looking forward to that.
That is cool. I mentioned earlier this past weekend, Robin and I were with a large number of college students, and I don't think any of them had a book. They all had like tablets.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the ebook is as common and natural to somebody who's young. To me, I guess it was hard to convince me that an ebook was as good as a regular book. I mean, I know it's got the same content, but I don't know, there's something about having a book. What are your thoughts on the whole ebook phenomenon?
Honestly, if it encourages people to read because it's convenient, then I'm all for it. I have e-readers, and I like to read because it is convenient. But then there are those books that are kind of special to you that you just go get a hardback cover of because they mean something to you. But if people read, I don't care how they read.
Is everything that you write short stories, or are they complete books? And do you have a series?
I have not written a novel. I'm working towards the courage of doing that. But I've written a lot of stories that are set in the same environment, in the same world, so I'm thinking next year I'll start to work towards actually making sense out of that world. But so far, I have not written a novel. I stick to the short stuff.
Can you win again in the Writers of the Future contest?
No. Once you win, you're kind of out.
You're done.
But that's a good problem to have.
That is a good problem. But can you judge? I think we had a couple of writers who became judges later on.
Yes.
You can judge?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, if they ask me to, which would be an honor. But yes, I mean, you can judge. They can ask whoever they want to judge.
So did you go out to Hollywood?
Not yet. That's not until April.
Oh, I see. Okay. I'm behind the times. Did we ever get a book? No, we never got this book.
No, never sent it.
How big is it? Is it a big book?
Yeah, it's about that thick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, right. When you go out there and you're going to be part of some of the workshops, how much will you be able to retain from that? Because sometimes when people go to writers groups and things, they don't take criticism well. How do you value somebody that criticizes your work, and how does that make you become a better person?
Well, I have actually pretty thick skin at this point because I have been writing for a long time, and in my experience, all of the feedback you get are to help you. And then in my experience is also that when I take the feedback and apply it, it actually helps the story. So it's not something that's difficult for me to accept at all, and I hope that I can retain everything that everybody teaches me, but it's so intense. Hopefully something will stick, but I don't know.
Yeah, because it seems like you're a fabulous writer. I mean, I don't know who could criticize your stuff.
By the way, when you're in California, there's a place, I can't remember what it was called. It's right near the Chinese theater, and they sell the best, oh gosh, what is it called again? It's the Jewish food, knishes. They sell the best knishes. Do you like knishes? It's a potato.
Sorry?
It's a potato knish.
Oh, yeah, that would be a new thing, but I'm all for new food.
Okay,
so
well, are you?
I'll run down there.
But are you excited about going to Hollywood?
Oh, yes, I'm super excited, of course. I've never been there, and the award show and the workshop are, I can't believe that this contest is so generous towards writers and takes such amazing care of us that they do. And I'm so honored that I get to do all that.
It does. I mean, it really looks like a marvelous opportunity. But anyway, when you get there, you got to say to somebody who lives in the area, "Where's the Jewish deli with the good knishes?" It's very close to the Chinese theater, and then they will say, "Oh, it's over there. It's somebody's. I can't remember the name of it." And then you go there and you get a potato knish. You go, this radio dopey guy. He said that these were good.
They'll send you free ones after that.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know. I didn't realize that.
You like you mentioned earlier, you're going to have an opportunity to attend some of the workshops there and be set up with a mentor. When you have completed that process, will you be able to bring your version of the workshop back to your area and be a mentor to other aspiring writers, because you've got a super personality for it?
Oh, well, thanks. Well, I don't know that that's an official thing, but I do try to connect with other writers. But I think every writer can help other writers. I don't think that it has to be more experienced ones that always have to do all the talking. I've learned a lot from other writers that are never been published. But of course, I do want to spread the love, because I'm sure I'll learn a lot of great things.
Spread the love. So when we speak to a recording artist, and let's say they've been around a long time, and you can listen to their old music, and you can definitely say, gosh, they were way younger there. And not just their voices, but sometimes even the way they wrote their songs. Can you do the same thing? Can you read like one of your favorite authors? Can you look at their older books and see how they used to write compared to how they write now? Is it easy to see for you as a writer?
Yeah. I mean, people develop all the time, and sometimes they just change the way that they write or the sort of stories that they tell. So the ones that I follow, my favorite authors or people that I've been reading for a long time, like my friends, I can definitely see them changing. I think that's unavoidable, and hopefully it's what you want to have happen. You don't want to write the same things all the time.
Did L. Ron Hubbard do films as well, or just books? I can't remember.
Well, he has had films based upon his novels, yes. Mm-hmm.
So would that be exciting for you if that happened? And not that it had necessarily had to be connected to L. Ron Hubbard, but I mean, would you want your books to be made into movies?
I do. And my boyfriend is a film person, and I begged him to make my short stories into short films. So yeah, of course, I write and I see it visually all the time. So that would be awesome, of course.
That would be cool. Well, you have been awesome. Thank you so much for being with us, Sylvia. I wasn't looking at the clock, and then the little sounder came on. Sylvia Anna Hiven, do you have a website for yourself?
I am terrible about that. No, I do not have a website, but I direct everyone to go to writersofthefuture.com for the contest information.
All right, for the contest information, and get the book and read the story, A Glamour in Black, and have fun in Hollywood in April. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck with everything you do, Sylvia. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The